Hi, and welcome to Living Inspired with Autism. This is the show for parents of autistic children who want calmer homes, a lot more joy, and a life that feels like theirs again, not just one long to-do list. I'm Antoinette. I'm a life coach for parents of autism, and I'm also mom to my beautiful son, Max. And I'm here to help you create a life that includes autism, but it's not only just about autism. And I've had a lot of you reaching out to me wanting to know something that's a little bit scary and it feels a little bit mysterious, but what it actually looks like to be coached, how it works, and what you as a parent actually get out of it. A lot of people listen to podcasts, they read books, they follow coaches on social media, and they love the content. But when it comes to actually being coached, they just freeze a little. And I was there with those people. You have thoughts like, what if I cry? And trust me, I have done this plenty of times. What if she thinks I'm doing everything wrong? What if I don't even know what to say? What if I pay for this and it doesn't work for me? If that's you, you are exactly who I'm talking to today. Because by the end of this episode, my goal is that you'll be able to answer 3 questions very clearly. What is coaching and what's it not? What does it feel like to be coached? Practically, emotionally, and energetically. What are the real life benefits for you as a parent and for your whole family indirectly? We're going to keep the autism references a little light today and keep the spotlight firmly on you, because this is who we coach. We coach you as the parent. We coach your mind. We help your nervous system. We help your dreams and your day-to-day life. So what is coaching and what isn't it? Let's start by clearing up a few things. When people hear life coach, they often think, well, firstly, sports coach, and then maybe therapist, but a light kind of therapist, maybe motivational speaker, somebody who shouts, "You can do it," at you and then hands you a planner, or a very expensive cheerleader. That is not what I do. Here's how I describe coaching, especially the way I work. Coaching is a structured conversation where we look at what's going on in your life, what's going on in your brain, and how that's creating your experience. And then we gently but powerfully change it on purpose. We don't just talk about life, we work on your life. Let me quickly differentiate coaching from a few other things. For example, coaching versus therapy. Therapy is amazing and essential when you're dealing with trauma, deep anxiety, depression, or things that need clinical support. Therapists often look a lot at your past, at diagnoses, at healing old wounds. In coaching, we absolutely honor your past, but we don't live there. We're mostly looking at where you are right now, where do you want to be, and what are the thoughts, patterns, and habits keeping you stuck in between. So it's very future-focused and very practical. Think of it as, right, this is the hand I've been dealt with. For example, autism. Now what? Coaching versus advice from friends or family. We all have that one friend who tells us exactly what we should be doing. Just say no. Just be firm. You just need to discipline. Just don't worry. And if you've tried to just don't worry about your child, you'll know How ridiculous that is. Your friends love you, but they also have opinions, judgments, and their own emotions about your life. A coach doesn't come in to tell you what to do. I'm not your mom. I'm not your boss. But my job is to give you a safe space to empty your brain, clean, loving honesty, and tools to see what's really going on, and then the support while you make decisions that feel true for you. Coaching versus accountability only coaching. There are coaches who just hold you accountable for actions. Did you go to the gym? Did you stick to the schedule? Did you shout less this week? That can help in certain seasons, but the way I coach goes deeper than behavior. I want you to know, why didn't you go to the gym? What were you feeling when you scrolled on your phone instead? What were you thinking when you shouted? Because if we don't shift the thoughts and feelings, you're always going to be fighting yourself on an action level. And as a parent, you are already exhausted. You don't need another place in your life where you feel like you're failing a checklist. Coaching with me is about causes, not just symptoms. Okay, so what is it actually looks like to be coached? Let's make this very concrete. Imagine you've decided to try coaching. Maybe you've booked a consult or your first session with me. What actually happens? Now, before the call, you've probably had that moment where you hit book and then immediately think, oh my word, what am I going to say? And that's really a normal reaction. And often I'll just ask you a few simple questions beforehand, like, what are you struggling with right now? If coaching really worked for you, what would be different in 3 months or a year? What life do you want to be able to create? And you don't have to write a novel. Just answering those questions already starts to clear the fog in your head. And the first few minutes, we hop on Zoom, and you might be in your car or hiding in the back of the parking lot. You might be in your kitchen with a cup of tea and dirty dishes behind you. I promise I have seen it all. We start very simply. I welcome you. I explain how the session works. And then I'll ask you something like, tell me what's going on for you right now. What does your life look like? Tell me all the things. Or if we could solve one thing, what's the topmost thing on your mind today? What would you love it to be? And you might arrive with a clear topic, or you might just say, honestly, I don't even know where to start. And that's also completely fine, because it's my job to help you unpack it. So inside the session, what we actually do is, once we've got the topic, we just slow everything down. And think of your brain as a big, tangled ball of yarn. Coaching is where we gently take one piece of the thread and just start to untangle it. I'll ask you questions like, when that happens, what goes through your mind? What are you making that mean about you as a parent? How do you feel in your body when you think that? How do you usually react from that feeling? We're not analyzing you, we're just getting clarity. Then we start to play with it very lightly. Ask things like, is that thought actually true? Is it helpful? If your best friend said this about you, what would you say to her? What else could be true here? You start to see that so much of the heaviness you carry isn't coming from your kiddo or the school or your partner or work. It's coming from sentences in your own mind that nobody ever taught you to question. And that is such a relief, because it's your thinking and you can change it. Let me give you a couple of examples so you can really get the picture. So example 1, I'm always failing my child is often a thought I hear. You come to the call and you say, I'll use my son as example. Max had a meltdown in the supermarket. I froze, people stared at me, and I just feel like I never know what to do. I'm failing him and I don't want to be there. And then we look at that together. We take the situation as a neutral circumstance. And neutral means my child cried in the supermarket and people looked at us. Then we look at the thought. I'm always failing him, or it could be a thought, I don't know what to do. And that thought creates a feeling of maybe shame or despair or hopelessness or embarrassment. And from that feeling, how do you tend to show up? Maybe you withdraw, you will overthink it for days, you stop going to that supermarket, or you snap at your partner later. Not because you're a bad parent, but because you're believing a painful story about yourself. Then we explore, is it true that you're always failing him? Can you find evidence where you didn't fail him? How do you show up when you believe that you are on your child's side, even in the hard moments? We're not forcing positive thinking. We're just finding thoughts that are truer and kinder and feel slightly better. Thoughts that help you parent from a regulated place instead of from shame or embarrassment or any of those other emotions. Okay, here's another example, which is one that I used to be very guilty of, and I do catch myself every now and doing it again. I have no time for myself. Maybe you come in with, I have no time for myself. There's literally nothing I can do about it because I'm busy every second of the day. We look at what your week looks like. And I might ask you, okay, show me exactly where your time is going. Where are you saying yes when you quietly want to say no? Where are you doing things to avoid feeling guilty? And very often, parents discover that their schedule is being run by automatic thoughts like, I can't disappoint everyone. It's easy if I do everything myself. I have to earn rest. I can't just sit down. We don't just rearrange your calendar. We change the beliefs driving the calendar. And that's where the real freedom is. And then the end of the session, we close the loop. And by the end of a session, you will usually have 1 or 2 key insights about what's really going on with you, a new way of thinking about yourself or your situation, and a very simple, practical next step. Not lighter or even a bit emotional, or just simply very tired in a good way, like you've been really honest with yourself for the first time in a while. And then between sessions, obviously, life happens. You test the new way of thinking. You notice when the old patterns pop back up. Next time we meet, we refine, we deepen, we repeat. That's how change happens. One honest conversation at a time. Let's talk about the benefits, because we're not doing coaching as a hobby. You're busy, you're tired, you need a good reason to add one more thing to your plate. Here's what my clients consistently experience from coaching. A regulated nervous system. We talk a lot about regulating our kids, but your nervous system matters just as much. And coaching helps you with noticing when you're spinning on anxiety or panic, understand why your body is reacting that way, learn how to bring yourself back down with breaths, with thoughts, with boundaries. And when you're calm on the inside, everything else becomes easier. Meltdowns are still maybe hard, but you're less likely to spiral with your kiddo. paperwork and appointments are still annoying because they're still there, but they no longer feel like a personal attack from the universe. And you can actually rest when you rest instead of doom scrolling and actually calling it me time. Coaching also helps you build a stronger relationship with yourself, because most parents I work with are incredibly loving and incredibly hard on themselves. And coaching gives you a space where you aren't judged. It's a mirror that reflects back your strengths, and it's a chance to celebrate yourself and not only talk about how you're getting it wrong. Over time, you shift from I'm the problem or my kiddo's the problem to I'm actually the one creating so much goodness here and I am learning. That relationship with yourself touches everything: your health, your decisions, your capacity, and your joy. And then also clarity and decisions without the drama. So many parents are stuck in a constant loop of, should I do this therapy? Should I try this thing or that one? Should we change schools? Should I go back to work? What if I make the wrong decision? And coaching doesn't magically tell you the right answer, but it helps you make a decision from your values, your reality, and your wisdom, instead of from fear or from people pleasing. You learn a simple process. What are the facts? What are my options? What are the pros and cons I like? And who do I want to be in this decision? And once you've decided, we then coach you on having your own back. So you don't waste 6 months doubting yourself and beating yourself up. And then we create more ease in your everyday life. And I'm not saying life turns into a spa day, because we all know that's not true. But I'm saying your experience of the same life can feel completely different. We can create, through coaching, routines that actually work for your family, boundaries around your time and energy, more shared responsibility in the home, and small pockets of joy that you stop feeling guilty about. You're still doing the school runs and cooking dinner and lifing, but it doesn't feel like a punishment anymore. It feels like part of life, a life that you're consciously creating, and not a life that's just happening at you. And then you're going to have permission to have your own dreams again. And this one is huge, because somewhere along the line, many parents quietly decided, my dreams don't matter anymore. There's no space for them. And coaching is where we gently say, actually, they do. You're allowed to want things. Health, friendships, a business or a career, travel, a more beautiful home, more fun in your marriage, not in spite of your child, but as part of building a rich, full human life around them. Sometimes simply voicing a dream out loud for the first time in years can be deeply emotional and deeply powerful. Then we get to work on the belief that says that you can't have that. Many wonderful coaches out there. So let me share how I tend to work so that you can feel whether this resonates with you. I live this life with you. I'm not speaking to you from an ivory tower with a perfectly behaved kiddo and an empty calendar. I'm a mom to my own autistic child who's 10 years old and nonverbal, and he still needs a lot of support. I've moved countries. I have serious health challenges of my own. I know what it's like to feel terrified about the future, to feel completely exhausted with no energy at all, and still deeply in love with my child and my life. So when you tell me I'm overwhelmed, I do believe you. And I also believe in what's possible for you. You will always get compassion from me. Coaching is not about shaming you, but I will also lovingly challenge you when your brain is telling you stories that are keeping you stuck, like I have no choice, or I'm just not that kind of person, or this is just how it has to be. It's never an attack. It's more like, okay, I hear that. Now let's just have a look at it together. Is that actually true? Is it helpful? Is there something else here? You're never wrong in coaching. We just get curious. And yes, we talk about hard things. We cry. I cry with you, I promise. We feel deeply, but we also laugh and we celebrate tiny wins and we look for the beauty that is already in your life. You don't need another heavy, draining thing on your calendar. Coaching can be a place that actually fills you up, a place that you can call home in your soul. How do you know if you're ready for coaching? You don't have to feel ready, like in this big dramatic way. But here are a few signs that coaching might be exactly what you're craving. You're tired of hearing your own complaints in your head and you actually want to change something. You try to think positively, but it just doesn't stick. Or you feel like you've lost yourself a bit in the whole parenting thing and you want to just find you again. And you suspect that there must be another way to live this life, but you just can't see it from inside your own brain. And the reality is you don't have to commit to being coached forever. You can start with one conversation. Sometimes one coaching call can shift how you see yourself so profoundly that things never go back to the old normal. If, as you've been listening, you've had that little nudge inside you that says, I think this is for me, I really think I need this, then I want to invite you to take the next tiny step. You can book a consult with me, which gives you the chance to experience what it feels like to be coached. Share what's really going on for you and see whether working together in my one-on-one VIP coaching container feels like the right support for you. There is no pressure. It's not a hard sell. It's just a real conversation because you deserve support that is about you, not only about appointments for your kids and reports and endless forms. Let me leave you with this thought. You are already doing an extraordinary thing, raising your kiddo or children and holding so much together. Coaching is not about fixing you. You are not broken. Coaching is just about giving you your beautiful, tired, clever brain some help so that you can feel more like yourself again, so that you can create that version of life that you want, not the version that life dumped on you. You do not have to do this alone. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this episode spoke to you, share it with another parent who might need to hear that they are allowed to be supported too. I am sending you so much love, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.